Hi, everybody. My name's Jason.
My name's Caden.
I'm Jaden.
I'm Yah.
And we are the Yahuwah and the Torah channel. And we thank you guys very much for hanging out with us. And this is one of our least successfully viewed programs that we do.
Seriously?
It's Samuel.
No one wants to watch Samuel?
Nobody wants to watch Samuel.
Come on, guys.
Even the book of Adam and Eve gets 50 views. This thing gets like 20 views. So
on,
on our main channel.
This is like story time. This is interesting.
It is very interesting, but they all tapped out after we made it past the Torah. They all tapped out. Nobody wants to hear any of this stuff. So it's kind of just us, which is, I guess, totally fine, because maybe somebody out there will read along and enjoy it. But for anybody who is out there, much love to all of you. Eli, do you have a joke?
No.
Man, all right, fine. All right, so let us roll into this. For anybody that does listen to this, guys, this is Yah Scriptures, the greatest English translation that has ever been available. It's not going to be $64 very much. If you want to get this for $64, go ahead. But we had to get people that handle these scriptures now, and so we're working on finding the people who will actually be shipping these out. And we've decided not to tax the people of Yah. We've decided not to even go down that road and go the same way the Hallelujah Scriptures did, because the Hallelujah Scriptures has done this for 13 years, where they broke the backs of the people shipping scriptures. And so we're just going to raise the price on this. We're going to find this, and we're going to do this as a business so that nobody's getting owned and everybody can just get the scriptures. So if you want this, it's the last days at $64. More than likely, you're going to see a jump to $75. We will honor everybody who has an order in at $64, so you guys got a smoking deal. And there's some people that got it even cheaper than $64. So yeah, you guys will end up with a smoking deal. Scriptures we're working hard. They are on their way. Things are looking good, looking better than what we had prior to this. If you guys want to download the free Yah's Scriptures, it is right here. Links are all in the description below, as well as the Apocrypha. And the eSword module is completely free. And people really, really like that. And a lot of people are using that. So we're really impressed with that. And if you guys want to purchase smaller books for your collection, for your library, these are all the same books that are in our Apocrypha. They're available right now on Amazon, and you can grab them, and they're really cheap. There's only a couple dollars markup on all of these, and so we're just simply trying to get these out to people so people read the word of our Creator. All right, we are now in the First Shemu'ėl. First book of it, 18th chapter. Anybody, can you guys remind me what has happened to this point? And where are we at?
Well, SHEMU'EL appointed Shaul king. He became king. He was good before Yahuwah. He did all these great things. He went to war, fought for Yahuwah. And then he started disobeying his sacrifices when he wasn't supposed to. He was away for SHEMU'EL. And then he left people alive, doing these evil things. He kept spoil for himself and for the people. Then he put up a statue in his name. And then Shemu'el told him he was going to rip the rain from his lineage, so his son wasn't going to have it, and he would be the last of his people. And then he went and found the next king, which was David, and he went and anointed him. He went through Yeshai's all his sons, and they were all big and strong, and he was like, these aren't it. And then he found David, who was the youngest, and he's like, this is the one who's after my heart. So David was anointed.
Yeah, he was secretly anointed king.
And then Shaul ends up using him to, when he has issues and like the demons are attacking him, he has David play his songs on the lyre for him.
Yeah.
And so David, basically the next king, is sitting in his presence, and I don't think Shaul knows it.
Yeah, and so that's the crazy thing is we were talking about the weirdness of this particular book, where King David or King Saul seems to not know who David is. And we just, in the last chapter, in the chapters before, he met him. And he started playing his music. He started playing a lyre or lyre. I don't know what you call it thing. I've heard some people call it a lyre.
I think it's a lyre.
I've heard James Block sings when he calls it a lyre. When he sings,
right.
I don't know the actual terminology of it. Lyre, regardless what it is a musical instrument. But he was playing for King Shaul. And now we are heading into another story today where King Shaul has never met this young man before. And so we have a couple of these odd times where we don't know if maybe the stories were like crisscrossed or not put exactly where they should be. But in the last chapter, King Shaul knew David. This chapter, he won't. So very strange. Okay.
So maybe it was like years difference. Maybe he had at one point, and then the dog wasn't playing before him, and then like years went by, and he didn't recognize him. Maybe he grew up, or
Maybe
something like that.
That is a plausible situation.
Or maybe there were so many people, or we're going there were so many people he didn't know who it was.
And that could be true because we had a organic food store here that we ran until 2020 or 2019, somewhere around there, when we decided it was in our best interest to get rid of it. And the boys knew everybody in all of the little communities. And what's funny is we went out nowadays and nobody knows who the boys are. It's taken them a long time to figure out who they are. And it's just like the people we used to know that would give us big hugs and things like this. They just walk on by because they have no idea who we are. So when we say, hey, how are you? Then they're like, hey, Jason or Jaden. Everybody's like really, really happy to see us. And so most people, not all, but most. Okay, Here we go. Some. Okay, 18. Here it is. And it came to be when he had ended speaking to Shaul, that the being of Jonathan was knit to the being of David. Are we on 18?
We're on 17.
What have I done? I've done it. Okay.
Well, I was like looking like, wow, we have messed up.
Definitely not done it. Okay, here we are, 17. Try again. It is the first day. Let us get rolling. Okay, this is better. And I actually did read this today, and I was like, wow, that doesn't sound like what I've read. Getting real old, real fast. Okay, 17. And the Pelishites had gathered their armies for battle and came together at Sokah, which belongs to Yehuda, and encamped between Sokah and Azekah in Ephrath Damin. And Shaul and the men of Yisrael were gathered and encamped in the valley of Elah, and drew up in battle array to meet the Pelishites. And the Pelishites stood on a mountain on one side, and Yisrael stood on the mountain on the other side, with the valley between them. Then a champion came out from the camp of the Pelishites named Goliath, from Gath, whose height was 6 amma and a zereth. All right, how many ammas? How many amma?
Was like a cube, which is like 18 inches.
How many amma was Goliath's mama?
Very tall. Very tall. Many almas.
Yes. So do we know how tall 6 amma?
How many almas was he?
He was 6 amma and a zereth.
That's 17 and a half inches.
Wait, 17 and a half inches is zereth?
No, it's an amma.
So 17.
A zereth is 8.75 inches.
Okay, so he's only 6 times 17.
106 inches. 106. And how many inches is zereth?
8.75.
This dude doesn't sound like real big. Here, get your calculator out real quick.
He's 114 inches.
Okay, and that divided by 12 is...
14 feet?
Is it? No, 11 feet, isn't it?
Yeah.
11 feet tall?
Yeah, it's less than 10.
Well, we're going from 12 to less than 10.
Guys,
let's do
guys,
this.
12 times 9 is
Can you just put the
108.
calculator on this thing so we
hold
get the exact thing?
Yeah, hold on.
Just drawing in dust on the table isn't working out for us.
Wait, what is it? 1.
Yeah, so Joe's just sitting there writing in the dust or something, thinking he's going to come up with the answer.
I had the answer.
Yeah, I don't think so. Let's see if you have the answer.
9.
you think it's 9. You started at 12.
We started at 12, we went to 11, now we're at 9.
Yeah. Zereth is how much, Kate? Sorry, guys.
Zereth is 8.75.
8.75. Mr. Nicole, you got this?
And what was 17.5 times how many?
6 feet is what he was. He was,
So it's
or 6 amma.
Plus 8.5?
8
So
point.
113.5 inches.
Divided by 12.
9.5-ish.
I think it was like, what do you mean?
9.45.
9.5, you sure, right? Okay. All right, 9.45.
9 feet tall is like not that.
What do you mean, dude?
Dude, he'd crush you.
Huge.
Yeah, but like,
That's that extra 3 feet. Just
like 3 dudes could take that dude.
Nah, man. This dude, let's read about this guy.
He's not just tall and lanky either. This dude probably filled out.
He's beefy, man. This is a beefer. Okay, so let's roll. So,
Can I just say, you guys are 6 foot tall.
yeah, everybody
He's
here's,
3 foot taller more than you.
and probably real wide, like shoulder wise. Okay, let's go into this thing. And a bronze helmet was on his head, and he was armed with a scaled armor. And the weight of the coat was 5,000 shekels of bronze. All right, how many shekels of bronze is that? So how many pounds? Shekel. All right, bring out the calculator again, Jade, so we can do this. Let's not botch this one.
I didn't.
A shekel is 0.4 ounces.
0.4 ounces. So do what is it? How many weight? 5,000 times 0.4.
2,000.
And that was 2,000 ounces. Divide that by 16.
125 pounds.
How much?
125.
So this dude's the weight of the coat was 125 pounds on this dude. This dude had to be enormous. Can you imagine trying to put a coat on? Your guys is 6 foot.
Over half what I weigh.
Yeah, you'd be drugged down. So homeboy was huge, really, really big. Okay, So he had 125 pounds of armor just on his chest. That was just on his chest because that was just a coat, right? And then he had bronze shin guards on his legs and bronze spear between his shoulders. And the wood of his spear was like a weaver's beam, and his iron spearhead 600 shekels. And a shield bearer went before him. Hold on. Okay, it says his spearhead was 600 shekels. So what was that again? So that's 600 times 0.4? That's the spearhead. And if you guys can hear that, that's like birds tap dancing on our roof. We live in the middle of the jungle, and so the birds come about this time, and they do some kind of like
15
Broadway.
pounds?
15-pound spearhead. That doesn't sound like very much, does it?
No, but that's usually heavy. You think about like
Being able to
sword.
chuck that.
Yeah, I mean, like a sword weighs like 2 pounds. I bet. So
Yeah.
like 15. That's gonna be
a sledgehammer.
Like a sled. We have a 20. How many pounds is that? How much is it?
15.
15. That doesn't seem very big.
Yeah,
Because
but
we
I
do
mean,
have a 25-pound sledgehammer that we have to like really crank away to make it move.
Yeah, but
This dude's winging
he's,
this
like,
thing.
tossing.
Yeah. So this guy's doing something. This guy can chuck. There's a spear. Okay. And he stood and shouted to the armies of Israel and said to them, "Why have you come out to line up for battle? Am I not a Pelishite and you servants of Shaul? Choose a man for yourselves and let him come down to me. If he is able to fight me and shall smite me, then we shall be your servants. But if I overcome him and shall smite him, then you shall be our servants and serve us." Then the Pelishites said, "This day I shall reproach the armies of Yisrael. Give me a man and let us fight together." There's some little testosterone in Goliath, huh? He's ready to roll this one. Okay. And that's the thing about, a lot of people don't like aggression, right? Like aggression is something people really don't like. That's what this house is completely full of. Like if you have a dude standing outside of our fence that says you want to rock and roll, we're all going to go flying out the fence. We're all going to do this. These guys, why do they have an entire army and everybody is scared of this 9-foot dude?
Probably because of the size. I would say size and his weapons. They probably don't think they get close enough to hurt him.
And is there no honor among the people that they would just bum rush him with like 20 guys and take him out? Like,
I
just
don't know.
have,
Well, I mean,
what about some spear chuckers?
Pelishites have an army on their side as well. So,
Right, but he comes out, so he would be out in the open a little bit. That he wouldn't be
Start
with
fighting
his.
arrows.
Somebody take a bow and arrow, snipe this dude.
Yeah, why didn't anybody like take him out of his legs or something?
Go like hide the tree or something, take him out, man.
Because these guys were really good slings, and they were really good with arrows as well. Okay, 12. Now David was the son of that. Did I do the last verse? And Shaul and all Yisrael heard these words of the Pelishite, and they were broken down and in great fear. Now David was the son of the Ephraith of Beth Lechem in Yehuda, whose name was Yishai, and he had 8 sons. And in the days of Shaul, the man was old among men. And the 3 oldest sons of Yishai went. They had gone to follow Shaul to the battle. And the names of his sons who went to the battle were Eliab, the firstborn, and his second Abinadab, and the third Shammah. And David was the youngest, and the 3 oldest followed Shaul. But David went and returned from Shaul to feed his father's sheep at Beth Lechem. And for 40 days the Pelishite drew near, morning and evening, and took his stand. Then Yishai said to his son David, "Please take these to your brothers, an ephah of this dry grain and these 10 loaves, and run to your brothers at the camp." So we're talking 40 days. This one dude came out and started yelling at everybody, and then I guess everybody went back to the camp and just stood there, right?
Yes.
The war didn't progress.
I mean, I guess that's all right.
It's kind of weird though. I mean, they're used to like fighting people against people, and then all of a sudden they decided they were going to take the testosterone road and have their own the Goliath fighting championships, have their Nephilim fighting NFC, the Nephilim fighting championships. So trying to take them. Okay, let's continue on. 18. And take these 10 cheeses to the commander of the 1,000 and see how your brothers are, and bring back news of them. For Shaul and they are all men of Yisrael. For Shaul and they and all the men of Yisrael were in the valley of Elah fighting with the Pelishites. Well, they weren't really fighting with the Pelishites. It was more like they were like listening to what the Pelishites said in the morning. It wasn't even negotiations. There was nothing to be said. The dude wanted to fight. Nobody wanted to fight. And so they would leave, and I guess they would just kept doing this. I wonder how many days they would do this if David didn't come by. At some point, one of the armies is going to just bum rush the other one, right? You think? Okay, 20. And David rose up early in the morning and left the sheep with a herdsman, and took and went as Yishai had commanded him. And he came to the camp as the army was going out to the fight, and they shouted for the battle. And Yisrael and the Pelishites drew up in battle array, army against army. And David left his supplies in the hand of the keeper of the supplies and ran to the army and came and greeted his brothers. And he was speaking with them and saw the champion, the Pelishite of Gath, Goliath, by name, coming up from the armies of the Pelishites. And he spoke according to the same words. And David heard. And all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, ran from him and were in great fear. And the men of Israel said, have you seen this man who has come up? For he has come up to reproach Israel. And it shall be that the man who smites him, the sovereign is going to enrich him with great riches and give him his daughter and give his father's house exemption in Israel.
How unfortunate how this goes for Shaul.
Yeah, it's how unfortunate it goes for everybody on this whole thing. And David spoke to the men who stood by him, saying, what shall be done for the man who smites this Pelishite and shall take away a reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Pelishite, that he should reproach the armies of the living Elohim? And the people answered him according to this word, saying, this is what is done for the man who smites him. And Eliab, his oldest brother, heard when he spoke to the men. And Eliab's displeasure burned against David, and he said, why did you come down here? And with whom have you left those few sheep in the wilderness? I know your pride and the evil of your heart, for you have come down to see the battle. Wow, it sounds like you guys. It sounds like your brotherhood. Doesn't it sound like a bunch of brothers? It's like, hey, everybody, how you doing? Why'd you come down here? Who'd you leave the little tiny sheep with? What's wrong with you?
I don't know if I'd be.
You want to be like that?
I don't think
if Eli came down to the battle with you?
I don't think so.
You guys
I wouldn't want him to be there in the battle to begin with. I'm like, hey, get out of here. You could die here.
All right. 29. And David said, now what have I done? Was it not but a word? And he turned around from him toward another and said the same word. And he was just like, oh, man, what did I say to this guy? I just said a word. And these guys went crazy. And these people answered him a word like the first word. And when the words of which David spoke were heard, they reported them to Shaul, and he sent for him. And David said to Shaul, let no man's heart fail him because of him. Your servant is going and shall fight with this Pelishite. And Shaul said to David, you are not able to go against this Pelishite to fight with him, for you are but a youth, and he a man of battle from his youth. Then David said to Shaul, your servant has been tending sheep for his father. And when a lion or bear came and took a lamb out of the flock, I went after it and smote it and rescued from its mouth. And when it rose against me, I took hold of its beard and smote it and killed it. Your servant has smitten both lion and bear, and this uncircumcised Pelishite shall be like one of them, seeing he has reproached the armies of the living Elohim. And David said, Yahuwah, who delivered me from the paw of the lion and from the paw of the bear, he delivers me from the hand of this Pelishite. And Shaul said to David, go, and Yahuwah be with you. Now, did David just say that the dad of the bear and the dad of the lion were attacking him? Or is that a different paw?
No, a different paw. I had to go back. I just scroll back up. I'm like, no way. Like, did I miss something?
That's just a bad joke. Okay, 38. And Shaul dressed David with his garments, and he put a bronze helmet on his head, and put a coat of armor on him. And David girded his sword over his garments, and began to go, but he had not tried them. Then David said to Shaul, I am not able to go with these, for I have not tried them. So David took them off. And he took his staff in his hand and chose for himself 5 smooth stones from the wadi and put them in a shepherd's bag, in a pouch, which he had. And his sling was in his hand, and he drew near to the Pelishite.
Now, I'm sure these guys in the army are looking at this kid, no armor, and he has like a walking stick and a bag of rocks, and they're probably like, yeah, we're all dead.
Wait, was this a lack of faith? David took 5 stones and there's one giant.
No, I believe it's like a show of faith because he didn't want the armor, right? Because he knew Yah would protect him, so he chose rocks instead.
Right, but he took 5 of them and there's one giant. Is this a lack of faith?
I don't know.
Maybe he can't tell their Pelishites come after him.
Or maybe he missed. He kept swinging.
That's the lack of faith, right? So here, I do know the answer for this, but I don't know how I know the answer for this. So the other rocks that David got were because of Goliath's brothers, and so he thought they were going to be coming down. So he thought there would be more than one giant. Now, how I remember this and where it is, I don't think it's in the scriptures or anywhere, but I remember somebody telling me this, and so
Sounds good.
let's go with it.
Where do you get this information?
So he either had lack of faith or he knew Goliath's brothers are coming after him.
I think Jonathan ended up killing some of them.
Jonathan and David's people end up like Abner and them.
Yeah, later on, not
killing
right.
Goliath's brothers. So.
Right. They had duels with them. Okay, 41. And the Pelishite came and began drawing near to David. And the man who bore the shield went before him. Did I miss 40? Nope. Okay. And when the Pelishite looked around and saw David, he despised him, for he was a youth, and tanned and good looking. All right, so do we despise people because they're young or because they're tanned and good looking?
All of
Or
them.
all of
I
them?
think
All
Goliath- I think-
combined.
I think
All
Goliath's old
combined.
and ugly.
Yeah, Goliath must have been like a
I bet he was
railroad
I
tie
bet
or
he was a
something.
real ugly looking dude.
You think he's
Old
ugly?
and- Oh yeah. Old and ugly.
Think he had a wife?
Huh?
Think Goliath had a wife?
I don't know.
Think she was tall too, or just a short one?
I mean, it seems like the Pelshite already had quite a bit of Nephilim on their side, so.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about them is they breed off of into the humans. Okay, 43. And the Pelishite said to Dawid, "Am I a dog that you come to me with sticks?" And the Pelishite cursed Dawid by his mighty ones. See, Goliath thought he was under the assumption that dogs chase sticks. I will tell you, we have 9 dogs. They don't chase balls and they do not chase sticks. You throw them, they look at you like you're retarded, and you have to go pick up the stick yourself. So,
Tiger picks up balls.
yeah, he'll run away.
He runs away.
The only one dog that's supposed to play ball with us. And anytime there's a ball, he grabs it and runs and plays a game of hide and seek. He doesn't want to play it like that. He wants to play you catch him. So here we are. Okay, 44. And the Pelishite said to Dawid, "Come to me, and I give your flesh to the birds of the SHEMU'ÊL and the beasts of the field." But Dawid said to the Pelishites, "You come to me with a sword, and with a spear, and with a lance. But I come to you in the name of Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of the armies of Yisrael, whom you have reproached. This day Yahuwah shall give you into my hand, shall deliver you into my hand, and I shall smite you and take your head from you, and give the carcasses of the camp of the Pelishites today to the birds of the SHEMU'EL and the wild beasts of the earth, so that all the earth know that Elohim is for Yisrael. And all this assembly know that Yahuwah does not save with sword and spear, for the battle belongs to Yahuwah, and he shall give you into our hands." And it came to be, when the Pelishites arose and came and drew near to Dawid, that Dawid hurried and ran toward the army to meet the Pelishite. And Dawid put his hand in his bag and took out a stone and slung it and smote the Pelishite on his forehead.
All right.
Hold on. So that the stone sank into his forehead and he fell on his face to the ground. All right, hit it.
It's Goliath's own fault, man. He sees this dude run over, swinging. Why is he just standing there for this? Does he not know what a sling and a rock is? Does he not know what this does?
This dude's
Why is he standing there?
This dude's 9 feet tall with all this armor on, and a little fella. This dude was what, probably 5'5" at the point.
I think
Duck,
so.
man. Move around.
Duck? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he could dodge this.
All right, well, the plans are about to be defeated. 50. Thus Dawid prevailed over the Pelishites with a sling and a stone, and smote the Pelishite and killed him, and there was no sword in the hand of Dawid. Then Dawid ran and stood over the Pelishite and took his sword and drew it out of its sheath and killed him and cut off his head with it. And when the Pelishites saw their champion was dead, they fled. Now, we didn't get a weight of Goliath's sword, but we're under the thing that David was able to lift.
2 hands here.
2 hands? Was it? I mean, the sword had to be heavy. I mean, if the spear end was like 100 pounds, right? Or no, the spear 15 pounds. I guess it.
This one's still
Average swords are
manageable.
2 to 3 pounds, so this one's probably.
It would be a toothpick in his hand. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Okay, must have been a sharp sword, though. Let's lop the dude's head off. 52. And the men of Yisrael and Yehudah arose and shouted and pursued the Pelishites as far as the entrance of the valley and to the gates of Ekron. And the wounded of the Pelishites fell along the way to Sha'araim, even as far as Gath and Ekron. Then the children of Yisrael turned back from chasing the Pelishites, and they plundered their camps. And Dawid took the head of the Pelishite and brought it to Jerusalem. But he put his weapons in his tent. You guys think that he, by himself, took the head? And is the head, it's got to be a fairly decent-sized head. It's got to be bigger than a normal head, right? Probably double the size 3 times?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so homeboy, do you think he did it, or do you think he had people grab the head and took it with him at this point?
I'm sure when he said he took the head, I'm sure he's like, here, grab the head, and they carried it back to Jerusalem. It's like, it just shows the people they won.
Okay, and when Shaul saw Dawid going out against the Pelishite, he said to Abner, the commander of the army, "Abner, whose son is this youth?" And Abner said, "As your being lives, O sovereign, I do not know." Okay, well,
So maybe he didn't know who Dawid's dad was. Maybe that.
what do you mean, Dawid's dad? This guy was supposedly playing a lyre in front of him every time the evil spirits went and got him.
Maybe he didn't know him personally. Maybe just like play for me. And that's
Really?
it. Yeah, maybe.
I don't think so. There's something out of order here, Holmes. Something's out of order.
Maybe
Okay.
maybe these chapters are backwards on. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe this is why he becomes so like in his presence.
Yeah, I don't know. There's maybe. So maybe this chapter need to go to the other one. Okay. 57. And when Dawid returned from the slaughter of the Pelishite, Abner took him and brought him before Shaul with the head of the Pelishite in his hand. Was this days afterwards, or are we talking like weeks after? Because there's going to be a funky smell coming off this head after a little bit.
Well, I gotta get rid of this head, man. Stop that.
It's gonna be rough.
Even after a day, it would
Just
go.
carrying
Yeah.
it around for days.
Yeah. Oh, you guys smell? Here comes David. He's got the head of Goliath. Everybody
Were they
can-
strapped to his back?
Dude, it's gonna get foul, real fast. Like it's even in a bag, it's gonna be nasty.
It's gonna be worse than bags.
Yeah, we've done all. We've killed the cows and hung them in bags, and we've killed many things. We are killers in these jungles. Okay, 58. And Shaul said to him, "Whose son are you, young man?" And Dawood said, "The son of your servant Yishai, the Beth-Lekemite."
So maybe this chapter should go before the other one.
I think so. I think it should be. Okay, well, that's it, everybody. We thank you guys very much for the few of you that are hanging out with us. We really appreciate y'all. Have a wonderful week. May Yah bless you and keep you. We're out.
All right, shalom.